I'm sorry I let you get attacked by a werewolf and then into the world.
What's up, guys? Oldhead Mike here, Metalcore Mommy Montana. Welcome to our review for the 4th episode of Lovecraft Country.
Super early.
Yeah, it came out early. Came out yesterday, Friday. It was like early release on HBO, so we watched it like 5 o'clock in the morning. However, we did have a lot of stuff to do, so we didn't make a video yet. But at least we're doing it one day early this time, so go us. If you'll just give us a like and subscribe real quick. Always putting out content, so we'd really appreciate that. And let's get to our review. Alright, so this one is a little bit different. I really liked it because it's more of an adventure episode. It's like Indiana Jones meets the Goonies, meets National Treasure. Because you got like puzzles they gotta solve. There's a cave that they go in, you know. There's a plank with the pendulums going across. So it reminds me a lot of those, especially Goonies at the end with the little. It looks like they're in a ship. I don't know. We'll get there eventually. Yeah. So this one, I thought it was cool because it showed that it's not just horror. You know, they can deviate, even though like the horror was already different aspects of horror. You know, they had ghosts and vampire monsters and magic wizards and shit. And then now it's not just horror; it's also adventure, which is really cool. I really like that they did that. Another thing I noticed that I really liked, of course, is the music. Music's still great. There's the score is beautiful. There's always like intense like orchestra stuff in the background that's done really well, and also the contemporary music, newer stuff. They had
they had Rihanna.
Yeah, there's Rihanna,
all kinds of shit.
Marilyn Manson, and another song I didn't recognize. If you know, when she's walking in the library, to talk to Tick. If you know that song, let us know, because I didn't recognize it. All around soundtrack and score is awesome. But yeah, thought it was cool. There wasn't a lot of scares. It was more of like suspense.
It was a very tame episode. It kind of gave like a look into like their daily life, I guess.
Yeah, there was a lot of like plot. There was a lot of like backstory, and a lot more character development. Yeah, there's a lot more development. But yeah, still like even without the horror aspect, it still did a great job of. There was still like suspense from the exploration and the figure out the puzzles that they were trying to do, and it was just all around great. Still, so the show continues to surprise us. So it's awesome. Absolutely love this. So I guess we'll talk about the plot here a little bit. So Christina.
Yeah, the white girl.
Christina.
The white wizard.
Is it Christina?
I think it's Christina.
Starts with a C.
Yeah.
She goes to Letty's house and is like, "Hey, I need inside your house to look for some stuff." She's like, "Why the fuck would I let you in my house?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "Oh well, you know, I bought it." And so she drops the bomb that she paid for it, and that Tick knew about it, and Tick tried to kill her. So she gets pissed off and goes after Tick. You know, because he's being a dick and didn't tell her.
Yeah, I don't really understand the character differences going on right now, you know, just because of like what they've been through together and like what she's been through and stuff. Like I don't really understand what's happening with everyone like drifting apart. I guess like the uncle's death like did that to them, but yeah, she goes off on him.
Yeah, and just like because he, you know, was holding stuff back from her. You know,
yeah, she was hiding.
It was a pretty big deal that she that he knew who bought her the house, how she got the money, that it wasn't really from her mom, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he just tries to protect her from everything. He's trying to save her, you know, and wants her to stay safe, even though, you know, they've already been through all this kind of shit, which comes back later because he continues to do that, and she's like, fucking stop, you know. I can handle my own shit, obviously she can. So they talk some more, and they find out that they need to go to a museum where they think there's this where they think the pages from that are missing from the book of names or whatever it is, so that they can translate it and have their own power. They want their own magic to help defend themselves. So they all pile up, him and the family,
the aunt,
George's wife.
She comes along because she thinks something's going on. She's like curious about George's death. Like, she knows they're not telling them something, so she wants to like go and see what the fuck they're doing. You know?
And then also Tree decides to come along because he's headed that way and wants a ride. So it's a big road trip with all of them, and they're like, "Come on, dude, we're just trying to go find this magic spells." So they go to this museum, and they discover there's like this button on a statue, and it leads down to some cave. And I guess they just straight up leave the rest of the family behind. Because they're just like, where the fuck are they at? And then they just leave. They start heading back. Hippolyta and Dee, they take off and go back home. And Tick and his dad and Letty are in the caves now. So they're just exploring this cave like Indiana Jones. They come across this bridge, magical disappearing bridge. That once they cross it, it starts fading away, which is a really cool scene, especially because they had a pendulum going across, trying to, they had to time it and jump, classic adventure movie stuff. And it was really cool, and that's where a lot of the suspense came from that. And then they get to this door at the end of the bridge, where they have to push these buttons to open this door. And of course, we find out from the beginning of the episode, Tick's dad has this book that supposedly George gave him. I don't know. I don't think George...
We didn't get a scene.
I don't know.
There was no scene.
Yeah, we think something's going on with Tick's dad.
Yeah, he's sketchy.
So we're wondering what's going to happen with that, because more comes later. As hopefully you've already seen, because spoilers. Should have said that at the beginning. So he figures out the code because there's like this mantra that they have in the beginning of the book that's like, I don't know, some weird thing about Eve fucking. It's weird that they worded it that way. But so yeah, they open the door and they come in this another section of cave that's flooded, and the water is slowly rising. And they're like, "Oh, how did you know how to open that door?" And he's like, "Oh, well, George gave me this book and wanted me to protect you, and so I burnt it, and just all this weird stuff, And they're like, "What? That doesn't make any sense. Why the fuck would you do that?" And so they're already like starting to little bit of distrust right there. And so the water's starting to rise in this cave, and turns out that now they're under Letty's house, like that weird
the escalator or whatever.
Yeah,
the
elevator. Yeah, and it's like, I guess the cave's magic. Everything's fucking magic because they took this big ass road trip, and then they walk for like, I think they said in the episode they were only walking for like 20 minutes, and now they're magically back where they started, under her house. Totally weird.
If you have a better explanation,
yeah, let us know if you've got any theories on that, because so it's the cave that they show at the end of the third episode, where like the dead bodies are.
Yeah, because there's one of her neighbors are like floating in the water, and she's like, "Oh, I think that's my neighbor." Yeah.
Then they come across another puzzle that they have to figure out, and they open. And it goes into this weird room that's like, it looks like a boat, and it looks like it's underwater. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it was like a boat, because the room looks like a captain's cabin in a boat.
Yeah.
And the outside is all like dark and like blue, and it looks like there's water
and
outside.
Like there
and at the end it like floods. Water starts pouring in. So it's weird, like this, like it's like another universe or something. And so there's all these dead bodies, and this is where it looks like the Goonies, because the end of Goonies is the exact same thing. They're in a ship and there's all these dead skeletons everywhere, and they start taking the gold, and then the skeletons come to life and all this crazy shit. So this reminded me a lot of Goonies, which was really fun. But there's this dead mummy lady looking thing, and
Siren, as she's called.
Yeah, it turns out she's a siren, but she's like dead mummy and starts coming back to life once they grab the they start to grab the scroll from her.
The cue when she like starts becoming like alive is
Mhm.
really, really creepy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, the makeup or whatever they did, it looked really, really good.
And it was like a little jump scare too. It was like, because they're like, "Ooh," and then pow, and then she starts like wriggling around. It's all gross, and then you realize she got a fat ass, and she had a fat ass. And she also had some more stuff. She had a
Sleepaway Camp.
She had a wiener, which was cool. Down with that, whatever. They ask her who she is, what she is. She's like, boy. She's like, what does she say? She says, I'm a girl. I'm
It's
a man.
like two spirits.
And like, yeah. And also that she comes from the land of many seas, is what she said, which I don't know. I'm not super history buff, so if that is referring to something in particular, I don't know it, but in my head, I thought it was kind of like maybe they were talking about Atlantis, because I know Atlantis was surrounded by water and obviously sunk, and now, I don't know. Maybe it's Atlantis. That's just my theory. I guess we'll see what happens there. But she was definitely different. She spoke a totally different language. Tick was the only one that understood what she was saying, and he didn't even know how he was understanding her. So it definitely ties back to the family. Anyway, she said that she used to work for or knew Titus, and that she realized he was a piece of shit and refused to help translate the text. And so he was like, well, I'll bring you back to your family. And so he does, but it's all of them dead in that room, and locks her in there. And he turns her into a siren so that if she can ever escape, she can't speak. When she opens her mouth, it's just this horrible scream. And that's what a siren is. And that's pretty much the end of the episode, except
plot twist.
They escape, they get up her house, and they're all, recovering. They have this touching moment between Tick and his dad, and then, he's like, all right, night pop, and, it's really cool. And then he goes in the room with the siren and is like, oh, sorry, and he just...
His dad.
Tick's dad, yeah. Tick's dad was just like, slit her throat, and that's the end of the episode. And you're just like... what the fuck? So something's going on with him. I don't know if he's possessed, if someone's using his body, or if he just
Is a bad guy.
Maybe he could be bad, or if he's just like with burning the book, maybe he's just trying to protect them from finding out more information. Maybe he doesn't want them to have magic. Maybe, I don't know. He knows something, obviously. So we're wondering where it's gonna go. Last thing. What's her name? Letty's sister fucks the white guy.
The wizard white guy.
The wizard white guy. That is with the family. The weird white guy that opened the door when they first got to the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name right now, but she bangs him, and
he shows her magic.
Yeah, they have this whole. He promises her that he can give her a whole bunch of stuff. So I guess he's trying to use her as a way into the family. I don't know. I also kind of have a theory, maybe, that... I don't know. I heard it from someone else, but it kind of made sense that... I'm wondering if he is also Christina, that it's there's some kind of spell that she can use to have, two different personalities, it's Christina and this dude. I don't know. That's just a weird thing. It'd be cool to see. And it's definitely not out of the realm of possibilities of this show. So I guess we'll see where that's going. Because you also never see him together in a room. I don't think. Do you?
Unless
don't
there was
remember.
a scene in like the first episode or the second episode
Yeah,
when
we'll
they
have.
go to the castle.
We only watched it through the one time, so
Yeah.
maybe we'll have to go back and rewatch that.
But I don't think so. No.
If you guys know, let me know. If that happened. But yeah, this was a great episode. Lots of adventure, lots of fun. It was cool seeing all the dialogue within everybody. But here we are, almost halfway through the season. I think there's 10 episodes. Next one will be halfway, and we'll give it a rating once we hit that 10. Or once we get halfway through, we'll give it a rating for halfway through, and kind of discuss where we hope everything's gonna go. But yeah, so great episode. That's pretty much it. Let us know what you thought of the episode, and stick around for next week when we have our next mid-season review. Love the show. Excited to see where it's going. Alright, give us a like and subscribe so you can see our next videos. Oldhead Mike signing off, reminding you, never too old for this.
Someday, love will find you. Break